Hey friends, Pastor Chuck Blair here. Sorry about that. I had a little mess up there on my my streaming service there. So, but anyhow, great to have you here today, and great to be joining you. And today, what we're looking at is we're looking at a really interesting one, which was what would you tell a bunch of college students? So, one of the real joys of my life is that I get to preach in different environments in different ways and to different audiences, and every audience is slightly unique. Every audience has a perspective, has a way of seeing things that sure is fun to be part of. And one of the joys for me is on Fridays I get a chance to preach over at the Bernathen College and do a little Friday evening live over with them, which is really fun. And actually, it's one of the best audiences I get to be with, which is always really entertaining. And today will be the first day where I'm actually chatting with them about the college year ahead. Like, how does the college year ahead look for them, and what's the message that I would want to give to them? What's the message that I would want to most share? And thinking a lot about it, going back and forth, because I think that first message, right? It's so important because it's becomes sort of the way to hold the year. I think those initial inaugural moments are incredibly important. And so what I did was I picked this beautiful one from Joshua 3. It's a beautiful, beautiful Old Testament story. And the background to it is this, right? Is the Bible is built Old Testament, New Testament, and some of the stories are circular, some are sort of standalone, and it's not that the whole book, all the Bible is one story. It's not. It's like a library of different books. But there's themes that we can see kind of popping up again. So the theme is this: the children of Israel escape out of Egypt. They escape out of bondage, out of slavery. They wander around the desert for 40 years. And then the time comes to cross over into the promised land. And to cross over into the promised land, they're led by this general by the name of Joshua, and they cross over the Jordan River. And there's many songs about crossing over the Jordan, which you may well be aware of, just a folk music lover. And what's interesting about it is that there's two times in the Old Testament where people are asked to cross bodies of water and God divided the water. And the first one is the Red Sea under Moses. And it's this beautiful ancient story. They come out of slavery. Moses commands that the waters be parted, as God commands, waters get parted, and he's told the people, just stay and wait. I need you to stay and wait and see. And here it's totally different. Here, what happens is the exact opposite. Here, what happens is God says, move forward. Instead of waiting back and watching for the waters to be parted, he says, move forward, and the waters will part when your feet touch the water. And I thought, oh boy, that's a great lesson for life, right? You think how many times when we're younger and how much we enjoy sort of watching the waters be parted for us, and uh, many of us have that experience where we had parents or grandparents or loved ones or teachers or coaches who are really good at like helping to part the waters for us when we were little and young, and it really made a difference. And then we get older, and it's just not as easy, right? We're much more called to just keep moving forward and to step into these quote unquote waters. Just trust that something's going to happen. Trust that God actually is going to part these waters, and that we'll be able to move forward. And that is a very, very different place to be. That's yeah, it's really humbling, and it takes a certain level of courage. And one of the beautiful parts, second parts of this story, is that as they get to the promised land, it's important to remember what the promised land actually is. So the promised land is not paradise. I think that's really important. I know for me, I constantly think in terms of that there's these finish lines out there that'll cross over the proverbial Jordan River, and then it will all be fine. Or we'll just get past this event and we'll all be fine. Or we'll just get past this stage in our life or this stage in a relationship, we'll all be fine. And that's just not how it works, right? It's not how it works. There are not these definitive finishes to life. It's not like we cross the Jordan, here's the promised land, it's all good. Because the promised land is not paradise. The promised land is simply where we're called to, right? It's simply where we're to. It is a land filled with promise, but it's also a land filled with all kinds of challenges, all kinds of hard parts, all kinds of yeah, I mean, just challenges galore. And folks, like that idea of, yeah, that's just what we're called for. We're called into those challenges. It gets back to this, right? And I was thinking, boy, with college students, I think it's so important to remember this, that we're never called to this place that's going to be perfect. I know these students, many of them will be coming there, they'll be anxious, they'll worry, do I belong? Do I not belong? How am I going to fit in? Is this the right place for me and everything? And they're kind of looking for the perfect place. Like there's the perfect place out there and it'll just fit like Lego blocks. You find it. And I just don't find that to be true. That doesn't tend to be the way life works. We do get invited into places, and yet these invitations are beautiful and they're filled with all kinds of different things. Really just keep on asking us to move forward. And that moving forward, so much of that is faith. Like it's just simple, like, I don't know, Lord, I don't know how to cross this river. I just have to trust that if I keep moving, things will move and I'll be able to cross over. And I don't know, Lord, how to handle this promise. And I don't know what you're asking of me. But even with that, just the idea that if I step into that, that's okay. And stepping into that land, stepping into those challenges is actually an act of faith. That is actually what God is asking of me to do. So with that, friends, let's just think about that for this weekend for all of us. You know, where are we going to just continue to step forward? Just continue to step forward. And there's part of that. I remember years ago reading this in the American Revolution, and the author had a beautiful line. He said the American Revolution was a revolution of sober expectations. I love that line. I love that line because that's what faith is. And I think we don't do justice to a life of faith if we build it to be anything but that. It's a life of sober expectations. It's where everything is solved once and for all. It's certainly not a perfect thing by any stretch. What it is it's just how we can move forward. It's what we move forward with. It ends up being the ground of our being. So when those challenges come, we have something to fall back on. When those challenges appear, we have something in our heart. We have a faith that can trust to just take the next step as best we can. So that's what I'm going to be telling college students today. It'd be interesting to know what you would tell them, but that would be it. Just keep on moving. Just don't expect it to be perfect, but we can always find what's beautiful. So, friends, that's my thought for this Friday morning. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little look. I'm going to pull it up on my phone here. We're going to take a look at any comments you folks might have, and if you want to leave a comment, you can leave it on our New Church Lives Facebook page. And what we'll do right now is we'll do a little meditation, a little prayer, and a little blessing, and then we will close with looking at any comments that are out there. So, with that, friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, folks. So let's take a quick little look here and see who has been able to join us this morning. Again, my apologies for the little technical glitches there. It was my computer was not. May the Lord bless you. Was not sorry about that. Was not cooperating this morning. So let's take a look. All right, Linda, good morning to you, and I hope you're doing well. Kim, good morning to you. I hope you're having a great morning. Sherry, thank you for that. Yeah, it really was a striking message. I was listening to it last night, and it's the message that the dean of Princeton Theological School used to start their Princeton school year, which I know you have a lot of connections with, by the way. So that was super fun. Shannon writes, "Thank you. Such a great reminder for me this morning. Continue to take a step into and with faith, and always find what's beautiful." You know, that's I was laughing with someone yesterday, right? Because sometimes I just don't want to take the step. And I was laughing with someone yesterday about like, I would really just, Lord, like to just not do anything for a day. I'd like to just not have to take these steps. But that does not seem to be what the plan is. That's for sure. Talia, great to see you joining us this morning, and good morning to you. Patricia, great to see you joining us this morning. I hope you're doing well. Deborah, I see you joining us. Great to have you joining us live. Sue, happy Friday, and that's happy Friday to everyone out there. Tina writes, "Thanks, Chuck. It's always a good message, and I'm so glad that it resonated." So with dear friends, I'm wishing you all the very best. You just take that step, which you gotta love, and as Shannon said, just keep taking that step forward and see what's beautiful. We'll see you, my friends. Bye bye.